everybody. So the barbarian tried sneaking into the enemy base and then got caught and got lit up by machine gun fire. So session's canceled.
Wait, what?
What kind of machine gun though?
An M4.
Was he at least raging?
She was not. No.
I listen. You know, I believe in the barbarian, the Yunga Bunga, but like no.
So here's the funny bit. Right? the barbarian in my game built herself like a rogue. So she's got like a +7 to stealth on top of the weird barbarian nonsense. She built a dex barb. So
nice.
Just a tiny chiropteran fucking ball of razor blades. Yeah, it's a great time.
I want to play in a game where there's a strength rogue and the dex barb just to like fuck with people in the game.
Oh god. But yes, it is us. The Session's Canceled podcast. It's me, your boy, here with the other boys. We're gonna go with the Josh, Matt, and Sam.
Howdy.
Yeah.
Why are you doing the normal intro?
I'm trying. After that critical fucking fumble that was our cold open, I had to at least try to keep us on track a little bit, which is gonna fall apart because today, boys, I was racking my brain to think about like a topic.
I was racking the black.
Were you fucking racking the glicky? Nice. I was racking my brain trying to figure out of like anything that I could really focus on this week to be a topic that I wanted to talk about. But I was not able to. Instead, I just sort of had a bunch of like things that have been like rattling around in my brain while I'm at work, just being like, And I do wish I want us to have more of these like, what's going on in your brain right now episodes. So I think this is going to be a not uncommon thing for me.
Damn, I was about to do the red versus blue. Like, you ever wonder why we're here?
So.
Christ. That show was so good till season 10.
Yeah.
And I fucked it all up.
Yeah.
Several times.
Is it still going on? It didn't end. I probably asked this last
they
time
were
we
doing
talked about
weird
red versus
fucking,
blue.
Yeah, I know. God, they were doing like weird spin-offs for like a few seasons and they tried to like reboot it kinda and then like they didn't. I don't fuck. It's a whole thing.
There's a book?
There's a book?
What?
Apparently.
What the fuck, dude?
So, what?
How is Microsoft not suing?
Yeah, this is not.
It ended in late 2020, not 2022. 2020.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Never thought that shit would actually end. Fuck me.
Same. I mean, that also says the original release, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got watch the ending and just see what the fuck happened.
Season Red vs. Blue actually ended with the whole like you never know if they survive or not because everything else is weird fucking spin-off nonsense.
Oh, it's fucking
yeah. You're good. Anyway, I don't know. We're 3 minutes in, so I don't want to get into it and then fucking segue out. So, Josh, do you want to give the good people our doobly-doos?
Ooh, what? I was in another dimension.
Where are you?
Follow or subscribe on whatever platform you're currently listening to. Also, hey, you're on Spotify, leave a rating.
There are 338 episodes? What happened?
I like Josh. That'd be nice.
Yeah, what Josh said.
Are you still on this Red versus Blue thing?
Listen to all 338 episodes of our podcast.
We're not up to that many yet.
They just go on to like, wait a minute.
Wait just a fucking. There are 338 episodes of Red versus Blue.
That's
God damn.
Longer than Bleach.
Correct.
Oh shit.
Especially if you remove all the filler.
Also correct.
It's longer than Naruto if you remove all the filler.
I mean,
also, I again don't know why I keep doing this to myself, but as I learned today, there is 750 episodes of Naruto, including filler. So fuck me, I guess.
There's an egregious amount of filler.
It's about 50% filler. It's like, I think 48% for both regular and Shippuden.
Yeah, this is why in high school I've got fed up when I just started reading the manga. I'm like, I can't handle this anymore. I just skipped
That's
through
one
it. It
way
was
to do
so good. Yeah.
I
Am I the one who's ever gotten there where like the anime is coming out too slow and you're just like, fuck this, I'm just gonna read it. It's faster.
Oh,
brother,
yeah, for sure.
I literally here's my problem. I start reading it before it becomes an anime, then it becomes an anime. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
This is good enough to be an anime.
You're like, this isn't worth the time.
Yeah, you know how many times literally I'll read like 70 chapters of manga, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, that was pretty good. I can't see it becoming an anime, but it was pretty good. A year later,
Anime
after
announced.
anime gets announced, I'm like, what? Why? This was some obscure shit that I read ages ago. Nobody talked about this.
God, yeah, okay. On that train
So
of thought,
how do we
we're
put
gonna get to our
anime
topic
in our
eventually.
tabletop?
Yeah, look, we're gonna get to tabletop eventually. But I had this thought, Sam, because I was thinking about this as well while I was working. Is that fucking that stupid pulp horror series that you and I read, Pumpkin Night?
Yeah.
I really hope they use that super cursed translation where they went from like, okay, so there's a manga called Pumpkin Night. Sid Snap did a video on it. That's partially why I read it. And it's about like a girl who got her face burned because someone shoved a pumpkin on her head full of firecrackers and acid. So she turned into like a weird like slasher killer. Yeah. But whoever did the fan translation, because I don't believe there is an official translation for it. They just had the characters and speak in like Cockney rhyming slang half the time, but then also like sometimes it breaks into like New York mafioso, but also sometimes it's like Southern drawl. Like I don't understand.
Every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It also gets like a real hood at times, and you're like, "What the fuck?" But dude, it's unhinged. The fucking mayor of the town is Donald Trump, and his son is named Naruto. It is wild.
And when he says Donald Trump, like literally like
just nice.
Donald
There's literally
Trump.
a bit where he was the other guy who actually is also based on a politician was like, "Oh yeah, he like." He was talking about draining the swamp, and then he ended up in a swamp dead, and you're like, yo, stop.
Oh my god.
No, it's unhinged, and I hope beyond all hope
I think
that we get the cursed translation.
I know. I think the worst thing is that Isaiah sent me like literally 4 screenshots of it. I'm like, I know what this fucking thing is.
Sam's like, oh yeah, I read that.
My favorite one is they randomly change the guy. The guy gets like stabbed in the leg, and as he's laying on the couch, presumably he tells his friend to call the ambulance, but it just translates to call the ambulance. It just fucking sent me. I think that was the first screenshot I sent Sam.
Hold on, I'm checking.
He was like, hey, yo, call the ambulance.
Shit.
Okay then.
It's so dumb. But fuck. All right.
I'm not gonna lie.
No, the first one that you sent me was the one where the translator's note was running in the 90s starts playing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was the translator's note.
Okay.
God, I wish more manga did that.
Dude, it's so good. If you can, it's the like Manga Fox version of Pumpkin Night. It's like 90 chapters. Please read it. It's so good.
It's a ride. Genuinely just a ride.
I will say to maybe help with the transition a bit, Isaiah. I'm not gonna lie. I was watching JoJo this morning. I had the thought to myself. I was like, what kind of things, what kind of mechanics and such would you actually need? What kind of game design required to make a tabletop game that genuinely feels like anime? What would you have to do? I started going a little bit down I didn't go far down that mental rabbit hole because I was like, this is a deep hole for me to be thinking.
It's a pretty deep hole.
It is, and
it
it's
also
hilarious.
depends on the anime that you talk about too.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, of course. I was in the kind of shonen mindset, but yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well, you were actually right, because that's actually a better transition than you thought, because
Hell yeah.
my
Oh my
first
God.
question, my first question's a two-parter, and the second half has to do with a similar thing. Now, I was sort of the opinion that when a player's absent, right, you just have another person play that character. To me, that was kind of the norm. Like, most
You
parties
watched
I've
Critical
been
Role,
in.
yes.
No, not even that. Like, like they do that in Critical Role, but like, you know, Cardell's game, Ant's game, my games,
These are all
you guys
Critical Role
don't know
influence
him,
people.
but Killian in my server, like his games, Lucy's games, another guy in my server, like we all just sort of was like, okay, who wants to play this character for combat? Because I don't want to do it. But for you guys, that doesn't seem to be the case, because Matt has said like they just get fucking beam me up, Scotty, out of existence for the session.
Yeah.
And you two don't run session if someone's missing, although you have smaller parties, so there's like a justification there for that. And I was just sort of thinking about that. It like for Sam and Josh, I guess, like, do you have anything against having someone else play a character, or?
I mean, well, so it sort of depends. I gauge it mostly based on the session itself, is a lot of it, because like, if it's a session that you as the GM know, you're like, we ain't gonna be doing nothing crazy or anything. Oh, I'm not gonna unveil the secret of the world this session or whatever. And a player is okay with someone else playing their character for a bit, then I'm not like vehemently against it or anything. I know some players really don't like it, so I tend to consider that part. But also, it's just kind of annoying. I don't know. It's just kind of annoying when it's like, oh, I wasn't here last session. What happened? You know? And if you do that a lot, like consistently, I just find it kind of frustrating and annoying to deal. And then also, because when I'm prepping under the assumption that I have my full 4 players or whatever. So then if I don't, I have to reconsider certain things. And if like a character isn't there that I kind of wanted to be there, or it's about their character, then I have to like, it's mostly just an annoyance for me is the main thing. I'm not like vehemently against it per se. Although I do think you definitely want to try and avoid it early. You don't necessarily know, like, when you're right. Okay, we're 70 sessions deep in my game. You know, you guys could all play each other's characters for a reasonable amount of time and make decisions with probably like a fucking 80% correctness based on how the character is at this point, right? Like Sam could play Django and probably do a bunch of decisions, and then Isaiah could watch the tape back and be like, yeah, that's probably what I would have done. And, you know, Isaiah could play Leah and Sam would be like, yeah, that makes sense. You know, but early on in the campaign, that's a little trickier. So I definitely would say maybe try to avoid it early on for that particular. Although this is also tends to be a problem earlier on because people are more excited early on in the campaigns.
Yeah, there is that hilarious, like, you have perfect attendance for the first 30 sessions, and like that, it just disappears.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. And a lot of that is, you know, things get sort of samey and shit, and that's often as how you gotta sort of I don't know, spice it up, move things around, change stuff, blah blah blah. Take arcs, you know, and do breaks, stuff like that. You know, there's all sorts of entirely, but yeah. That's a really long-winded to say. No, I'm not particularly against it, but I find it annoying.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that bit. I'm definitely having problems with several characters several players having to work during session, and like every week it's so what happened last session? And you're like, oh fuck, that's right, you weren't there.
and I will say, not to add on more to my already long answer, but I will say, I was about to say I grew up watching. That's not the right phrase. My tabletop indoctrinating via actual play, the games I watched, generally if a character was not there, they did not play. Like the main shows I was watching, they just didn't, they wouldn't play if the person wasn't there, like 90% of the time. Or if they did, the scenario would be such that that character wasn't present anyway, you know? Like I'm thinking about a Shadowrun campaign I watched quite a while ago, and like there were some times where like if a player was missing, the character just wasn't like on that mission or just wasn't around for that particular day or whatever. And sometimes that's easier than others, obviously. But yeah, so I got it. I got that in my mentality of like that's generally how you do it. Granted, the actual plays I'm watching were all Twitch streamers. They had a lot of control over their schedule. So, you know, it's more reasonable for them to do that than someone who's like, you know, working at a nursing home or a doctor or so, you know what I mean? Or any of that shit.
Yeah, I mean, having a player who is a nurse.
Yeah.
At times, it is a scheduling fucking nightmare.
Yeah, like obviously the streamers have more control over that kind of influencers.
Oh my god! Real quick, I hate when people are like, "Oh yeah, you know, the creatives," and it's like that's not a phrase used to denote a kind of people. It's like a thing that you like. Yeah, I guess it's a thing that you are, but it's not a label of any kind. I hate that. It's like, okay, you're a creator, right? You're an influencer, creator, content creator, whatever you want to call it. Don't call someone a creative. It's weird. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's not much better. It's because nobody likes influencer, but like.
That's what you are.
Fucking yeah, the term works.
It's one of those issues where people are like, oh, you know, you say that this person's an influencer, and you go, yeah, but I don't want to be associated with those people. That's
Why not? I mean, I feel like content creator works perfectly. I don't understand creative.
I don't understand creative either. It's just people being like, because I mean, with influencers, it's literally like, oh, most people call people on like Instagram or like almost at Snapchat, like TikTok. Those are influencers. They're not creators.
Yeah,
like that's where they don't want to be like I'm on YouTube or I'm on Twitch. I'm a content creator. I'm not an influencer like people are on Instagram and shit. Yeah, like that's where that mentality comes from. It's they want to have this separation between, you know, creating content to like usually to sell shit or creating content to just create content.
Yeah, right. That distinction between cheeks. Yeah, there's definitely a difference there. Yeah, I think
difference. It's just
I think also content creator. I hate to say this kind of from a marketing angle. Content creator doesn't always, you know, it doesn't slide in as nice. Influencer really works. It's a good, quick, snappy word. It's a very marketable phrase. It's very broad.
All right, Mr. Cylinder, relax there.
I know. Look, I hate these motherfuckers, but I do know how they think sometimes. Yeah. Like, I get their mentality on certain things.
No one understands that joke. Our fucking Josh just sounded like one of our graphic design teachers in school who just had the most fucking infuriating way of speaking.
Oh, it just reminded me of Office Space, but yeah, that works too.
Oh yeah, I mean, just God, that was most of the t-shirt window one year.
Nice.
Damn it.
Also, side note, it is worth pointing out that the phrase influencer came from a convention that a marketing came up with the title.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'm
forget.
Not surprised by that.
I forget what convention, but I remember quite a while back, podcast I listened to mentioned that they went to this convention and all of their badges said influencer on it. And first time I heard it, and then that was it. That was all you heard anymore. I wish I could remember, but it was definitely like some marketing guy came up with the phrase.
That sounds like a weird marketing thing.
Of course.
Yep. It always is.
Now, like I said, so the second part of this question is sort of a jump off, but it is more closely related to what Josh was talking about, because Sam, you and I were talking about this the other day.
Mhm.
For the reference, Sam and I are really big fans of the Fate series, and many a time me and him have brainstormed, like, how would you run this kind of series in a tabletop game? And for reference, it's your typical, like, battle. It's not a battle shonen, but there's like each character is a mage, and then you summon a hero from history that fights for/with you, and the whole point is whoever comes on top gets to wish on the Holy Grail, yada yada. But the big thing that me and him have tried to figure out, I should say, is in that system, would you be playing as two people, the mage and the servant, or would it be more like the mage is one character, the servant is another, and you get special buffs for being partners? Or is it like an isometric system where everyone plays as a mage, and then one person either plays or has a servant, and it just goes on and so on and so forth? Which is to say that I guess the real questioning is there an interesting way that a player could play like more than one character without talking to themselves like a goober for several minutes?
So, oh man, just you saying that just flooded like 1,000 ideas at an instant.
I know, right? It's real bad because it's just like,
okay,
how do you do this? And it's like, well, you could do this, or 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 you could do this.
I just want to say, my train of thought with the Fate thing, and I know I'm not a Fate fan, so maybe this is an off base way to, like, maybe I'm not thinking about this correctly. I feel like if I were to make the Fate game, the way I would do it is basically every player has to be paired off, and one player's the mage and one player's the servant, and you can't play that game with odd number of players. That's what I would do. That game.
Okay, that's an interesting idea.
Which might be a little wacky. If you wanted that to not be the case, however, I think it would make more sense that the mages be NPC. The players are the servants. You know?
Interesting. So, okay.
That's my read from a distance.
Well, so you're not completely off base. Sam and I had spoken about that specifically. Like that point of the mages are the NPCs or the servants are the NPCs.
I think, yeah. From a distance, it seems like the mages being NPC.
So, I agree. The only thing that I would think about then is that the game master has to worry about anywhere from 2 to 6 random idiots running around who like have their own goals that could be different than the servants, because that's often the case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Basically, every servant would have a handler who's either trying to backstab them or force them to do shit they don't want to do, which could be it could be interesting depending on the game. If you want to do like the Black Company style, you just get told what to do.
Yeah, that's basically where my brain is at. The servants are NPC. The mages are NPCs and basically kind of tell you what to do.
I mean, it also depends on how you do the setting, because there are a few different.
Yeah, I mean, I'm keeping it broad.
So this is with the idea of the normal Holy Grail war. Okay, that this is the normal stakes, normal war kind of thing. There are 7 people, and they have each one of them has a servant, and then those servants go out and they do a thing. Okay, then there's the oh God, what do they call it in Apocrypha again?
Oh, the Great Holy Grail War?
Yeah, the Great. I know they slapped some stupid word on it because they're like, yeah, it's better. Where it's 7v7 instead of 1v1, v1, 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 v1.
Oh.
I was say, is he going to do it 7 times? v1, 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 v1. Yeah, okay, that was 7.
Yeah. It's like... Yeah. So like I'm not even going to talk about the fucking Moon Grail War, because that one's not, it would just be the Holy Grail War again. Sort of, kind of. But like or you could do the Grand Order where you are a team of mages and you have a team of servants, and then you go and you fix a problem in some point in history. Like, it completely depends on how you do it. Or you could just be like, I'm a mage, and I'm gonna do the thing, or I'm a servant and I was summoned by a mage at a random point in time, and there's no Grell War going on. This is confusing. So there's quite a few things that could happen.
Yeah, so when you brought it up, I think the Grand Order one is probably the one that would be the most conducive to having like
a party.
Yeah, right. Because when Grand Order, we do know that, like, at the beginning your character was one dude and there was a servant on the team, and then the rest of you were just support mages. I think that would probably be it, and I think the most interesting way to do it, next step would be, maybe each mage has an ability and like you can switch turns being the master to the servant, and that could like switch up what you can do. So if you're like a support mage, maybe the servant has more health. If you're an attack mage, they do more damage. If you're like whatever the fuck, oh god, who's the fucking dude who does the shields? Caneth, the Mercury shields. You could like increase your servant's ability to withstand magic damage, because that's a different thing in Fate. There's like magic and then there's physical damage, and that's why Gilgamesh has gold armor, because it can negate It's dumb.
Listen, the rules are there. They're just sometimes not very clear until you hear them said, and you're like, wow, interesting. Why, Nasu? Why'd you write it this way? Also, why did you subvert your rules again? Nasu, why do you keep doing this? Please stop.
Yeah, why do you keep making loopholes to the fucking rules?
Well,
I mean, a lot of the times it's because we misunderstood. Like, mages, if the explanation comes from a mage,
oh my god, guys,
they probably don't have enough information. Anyway, I was going to say, one of the ideas that we talked about was the specific type of mages could also be like the clans from Vampire.
Oh yeah,
sure, yeah. I think Isaiah,
smile.
Well, the Fate specifically is one thing. If Isaiah, you're just kind of getting at playing multiple characters.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a two-faceted question.
Okay. Yeah. So, because you said a thing there. You said, switching back and forth. If you want to, so look, the multiple characters thing, you could get pretty anime nonsense with it, I suppose is a way to put it, right? Like, you could play multiple characters and have one of those characters be your big bad evil side. You could play multiple characters and be like a weird body swap superpower you have. You could play multiple characters in that you're just a weird brain entity inhabiting multiple like bodies, right? You could get really fucking out there with it if you wanted. However, because some people might find that a little too weird or a little anime. If like the most simple, straightforward way that I have seen works is just you play two characters, and this will work in like pretty much any scenario. You're playing two characters, and one character is primarily, focused on job A, and another character is primarily focused on job B, and you sort of bounce between them when they are relevant. So you're playing your fighter in D&D, and when you're going out on adventure time, you play the fighter, but you also have a wizard character, but the wizard character is all focused about dealing with stuff back at town, or dealing with like the political problems going on. So anytime you have problem A, you go to fighter. You have problem B, you go to wizard. That's the like most friction-free method that I have come across that generally flows.
Yeah, I mean that makes the most sense of being like you can sort of treat them like a select a character for the given mission.
Yeah, right. And there's also, you can do some like character B is indisposed for this mission, like character A, right? There's some of that going on. Blades in the Dark talks about doing that because your character can get arrested in rather long time. The game says like you could potentially play a second character while your main character is in the clincher. You know, in an Apocalypse World game I played, a character didn't die, but was sort of ambiguously taken out of the campaign for a period of time. Like the GM was basically like, that character's not around for a while, and the other player went, okay, and we didn't know when they were going to come back or what it was or anything like that. So they played a secondary character in the meantime, and then the character did eventually come back. Well, I forget exactly how. Yeah, that's sort of the most basic way. If you want to have the two characters simultaneously with each other, fucking Paladin and his squire.
Or what if it's not even that? What if it's literally like, yeah, I have the Paladin and the Wizard character.
Right, yeah.
Like in the same party.
Yeah. You know, I think you're just going to have to set it up in such a way that one character is more of the forefront character than the other, you know? Like, if you have a bard character and a fighter character that you're playing at the same time, then the bard character does all the chatting and the fighter character just stands there and grunts at people a lot, you know?
Just do big punchy.
Yeah, just come up with some sort of narrative explanation for why one character is kind of the more primary character. That's, I think, and, you know, sometimes you may end up in a scenario of talking to yourself for 15 minutes. Like, it'll happen every once in a while. But yeah, I think that's kind of the easiest way, is one character is sort of more talkative, more upfront than the other one. You know, and if you want to try and play like two bard characters, I want to say don't.
Yeah, just fucking don't.
But like, if you want, I guess just come up with like a system, like a method for how you swap between the two of them. Like, I'll set a timer, and every 30 minutes I'll swap to the other character or something. Like, have some kind of like very like a system that you can't argue with. Like, I do X when Y occurs kind of
You just
system.
have the Kingdom Hearts dive system.
Yeah, right, yeah. Something like that. But honestly, that sounds miserable. I think the much easier option is just the stoic fighter who doesn't talk a lot and the talky bard who talk too much. I think is, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like the most pain-free. Yeah, I think it's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
The one that makes you not want to bash your head on the most.
There's also the military thing of like, you have multiple characters you play, but you play whichever character is currently out on mission. You know?
Yeah, he plays like the one who gets deployed.
Whoever's deployed, yeah. Which is kind of going back to the
or like the guild hall or whatever. Like you have that, you know, your backup / secondary characters at the guild all the time. You swap out punch card.
Punch card.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. I'm done at work today. I'm going home for a little bit.
Yeah, you fucking do it. I don't want to do this anymore.
Like, oh god, what happened to you? Yeah, we fought a dragon. Ah, sick. Oh, we're gonna go fight a beholder now.
Oh, sick. Does this guy have treasure? No. Shit.
It's for the rogue's backstory. God, I hate that guy.
God damn. It's for the rogue's backstory.
You always gotta blame the rogue for his backstory.
Yeah, of course.
Always.
Now, there is sort of like a tertiary reason why I asked this question. Mm-hmm. It is, do you guys ever feel weirdly awkward as dungeon masters when you have to have two NPCs talking like I do?
Absolutely.
Because I had to have it happen like 2 or 3 times in the last few sessions, and I like visibly squirming in my chair because I'm like, I got 6 players and I'm taking up both parts of the spotlight. This is awful. Please, God.
Someone please start talking for me. I don't want to be in this loop forever.
Exactly.
I mean, you always gotta have just like, whether it's like a conversation with 2 NPCs, at least it's always gotta be a back and forth with the players. But yeah, it's like, oh God, I'm taking up the spotlight. However, this is also like, all right, maybe instead of it being like 70-30, maybe I could try and like pull it back to like, 60-40, maybe 50-50 if like the NPC is asking a shit ton of questions, or, trying to like hear what the players have to say on their opinion or whatever,
Oh yeah, of course. The context is was that the one of the characters went to like an infirmary where 2 of their friends were, and the 2 characters who were in the hospital were sort of like talking strategy with the player in question. So the player would ask a question, the NPC would respond, and the NPC would be like, I don't agree with that. And the other one would be like, shut the fuck up. And there'd be like a little back and forth, and they'd be like, what do you think, player? So I tried to keep them in the loop, but there was also a level of like, the NPCs have something that I want the player to know that I don't want to exposit to them just like out of game. But also, admittedly, the characters have a dynamic of arguing all the time, and usually I get away with it. It's like the typical one of the characters is not in the room, and then they just yell something out of the room, and a yell comes back, and it doesn't have to be a back and forth. And then I realized those Q2 characters just should not exist in the same room together because it's a nightmare for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm some sort of psycho, but do I find it kind of weird and awkward? Absolutely. Do I have a grand old time doing it? Also true.
I think it depends on the NPCs that I'm doing at the time for the enjoyment of it, because it's absolutely awkward just talking to myself.
I revel in how fucking weird it is, because like, what other situation are you allowed to talk to yourself and not everyone assume you're insane?
When you're alone.
That's fucking true.
Yeah. So, I just revel in the chaos.
Fair enough.
But yes, the types of NPCs helps.
Yeah.
All right. Now, as you all know, I'm a fan of the adult Power Rangers, as we put it. And Cardell, about 2 months ago, sent me a really cool homebrew for making a Rider character, and I read through it like twice because it was really good.
Isaiah, for those listening and wondering what the fuck he's talking about, Kamen Rider is what.
Yeah. Sorry. It's like Funny Robot Game. I can't call it by its actual name. It's just Funny Robot Game and Adult Power Rangers.
Yeah.
But I sort of unfortunately found myself in a dilemma where I read the rules and was like, damn, these are cool. And I had like no desire to do anything with it really after that. Like I still like my conscious brain goes, oh, I really want to make a Rider character with this homebrew. But then like the monkey brain's like, I don't give a fuck. And that's just sort of been my larger opinion of homebrew nowadays, which is a fucking bummer, dude, because I love homebrew, but it just, I don't know if I'm like becoming a weird 25-year-old TTRPG curmudgeon or what. I don't know. Thoughts, I guess. This was even worded like garbage in my little notes that I wrote to myself because I was really struggling on how to put that into any sort of cohesion.
You're worrying that you're becoming that accept.
Well, like, so Paladin was also it wasn't Paladin. It was Ant was also on like Middle Finger of Vecna, which is also like one of my favorite homebrew spots. And I was excited, but then I was like, in my head I went, I'm not going to use this shit though. I was like, what? That's new. I'm usually like super hyped for this kind of stuff.
I think there's a certain arc that everybody goes, and some people go through it. Some people speed run it, and some people it takes a little while. But honestly, most people start out and think homebrew. What happens, right, is somebody says, this is a tabletop. This is a tabletop game. You can do whatever the fuck you want. And someone goes, awesome, I'm making Wolverine with a laser cannon. And then someone turns and goes, okay, well, you can't do that. And then they go, well, then I'm going to figure out a way to make Wolverine with a laser cannon. And so you start going homebrew crazy because somebody told you could do whatever you want. So you had a certain expectation coming in. Then you found out that's not exact, like they said it that way as a sales pitch, but that's not exactly what they mean. And then you get mad that you feel like slightly lied to, kinda, or misled. Please hold. Cat, cut it out. Yeah. And so you go down the homebrew rabbit hole because the homebrew rabbit hole truly is anything you want. And then what you find out realizing is that actually having this limitless anything you want, go crazy, buck wild mentality, not as fun as it initially seems a lot of the time, and often is like, it's like a good fun romp for good 5 minutes, you know, like a metaphorical 5 minutes, and it's not literally 5 minutes, you know. It's fun for a short period of time, but at a certain point, you realize that Wolverine with a laser cannon feels kind of stupid in the party with Aragorn and Legolas. And then you kind of go, actually, can I just make like a cool paladin dude? See, that would fit better, you know? So I think you've been playing long enough that you realize that, you know, the appeal of wacky homebrew and stuff is not that, it's not as powerful as it used to be. And also, I know for me personally, I find more joy in looking at the game and saying, what is the game trying to have me do? What kind of character does this game want me to play? And then trying to come up with a cool idea within the universe of what the game wants me to play. You know, I look at Blades in the Dark and I'm not like, how do I make a superhero? I go, whoa, okay, no. I look at Blades in the Dark and go, what kind of cool, like, criminal enterprising, sort of trying to get to the top of the underworld type character can I make? Because that's what the game wants me to make. So how do I make something fun within? So I think that's mostly what it is. You're at that phase where you're like, the wacky fun idea will be fun for like a small period of time, but it's like, you know what it is? You know what I'm trying to get at? The wacky woohoo homebrew is instant gratification, whereas trying to make something within the bounds your game of the playing is the more work, but longer term, more satisfying gratification.
I was going to say, something very similar. A lot of the time when I have an idea for a character that I want to play and it doesn't fit a setting or a game, I try to look for a game that it does fit.
Look for the game that it does fit. Yeah, you do it the other way around.
I do it the other way around. I want to, you know, there are so many games out there, and this is why, like, when I'm like, oh, I want to play this type of game, and there's just nothing, I'm like,
you're surprised that there's nothing?
Well, that just kind of sucks.
Yeah. It's like
now really? I have to make the game myself.
The aforementioned Fate game.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, what me and Sam are saying, Isaiah, is that rather than playing wacky woohoo D&D Kamen Rider, you would get way more hyped about a Kamen Rider RPG. You know what I mean? If you found a Kamen Rider RPG, you'd lose your mind.
The good one. The good one. I don't understand how hype I would be if there was like a tokusatsu RPG.
Right, exactly. It's way more exciting to find a Kamen Rider game than to play a Kamen Rider in D&D. You know? Totally different thing. Or not totally, but like...
It's just a big...
Better time investment?
It is just better tonally a lot of the time. Because you're like, oh, I'm playing, you know, tokusatsu game. I am a Kamen Rider. hello, this is what I'm like. Everyone is doing this. We're all in this together, not me being a joke character over here because I am in the wrong universe.
But I do still kind of find that fun, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
It's very short-term fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say for a few sessions, I can see that being fun. I don't know about like long term, for me at least. You know, it's one of those. Wow, that's fun. Okay, now I just feel like the joke is gone, and now my character's just kind of here.
Now I'm just weird. Like the joke is worn off, and now I'm just kind of a weird.
See, I don't know if I get that, because I played Yato for like 7 months and not once got bored.
That
of
wasn't
being
really
the
like
weirdo.
That wasn't, but that was different. That was still a weirdo within the constraints of what we were doing, right? Like that wasn't
True.
because you made funny JoJo reference man in weird magic, like, and let's be honest, heavily anime influenced magic school game, right? That's not that, like, you were the weird character in the sense that you were very directly referencing a specific anime because you looked at the Astral Monk and got an idea. But you were still mostly within the bounds of our wacky woohoo nonsense, right? Like, we had funny JoJo, like...
And I will say, Matt playing literally Rachel Alucard from fucking Blaze Blue, was, I guess, was theoretically weirder than my JoJo.
Yes,
It's like we had funny JoJo reference, Rachel Alucard, and like weird Cthulhu wizard man, and then we happen to have one guy who is just mostly a ranger. So like, if anything, Chris was actually the weirdo. Yeah, Chris is actually the weirdo in the crew.
Yeah, I do, like, I love Twin, but Twin's ability to always play Guy McDude Man in every
McDude,
game we play is always, I'm like, ooh, I wonder what he's gonna play this time. He's like, I'm just a guy who does things, and we're like,
Yep.
you're a fucking salt of the earth, Twin. That's what you are.
Yeah, that's what it is, right? Like, so it's like, yeah, you were playing. It's like you were playing a funny, wacky character in the right way. You know what I mean? Like, there's a tactfulness to it. Whereas if everyone else is like, hey guys, we're gonna play Lord of the Rings, and then the first rider henshins into the scene, you're like, all right, that's a little much. You know?
I pull up my magic artifact, and as I press the button, it says, buckle up.
Yeah. Like, you come into the scene on your fucking motorcycle.
Yeah.
You know, and I understand the desire, but I think what people tend to learn after they've played tabletop for a long period of time is that you get a longer term, bigger payout by being like participating in the overall vibe. And that's not saying you can't do wacky characters up, right? Like, the thing about Yato too is Yato was a JoJo reference. He wasn't literally Jotaro. Right?
Also true. Yeah, I mean, you do have to be careful with the
there's a
heavily reference to I'm just playing Naruto in fucking 5e.
Right. Yeah. If you're like, I want to play 5e, I have an idea for a Naruto inspired character, so I'm going to do like this kind of funky Shadow Monk build, but I'm not going to literally say I'm from the Hidden Leaf Village. You know, instead, I'm going to come up with a town that my character's from called, you know, Hidden Bush or whatever. You know what I mean? You know, like, there's
a hamlet hidden in the trees.
Yeah, exactly.
Hamlet hidden in the trees.
Oh no.
Yes. This is totally gonna be a thing now. Fuck yeah, dude.
All right, hold on. I'm pulling up my weird D&D notes thing.
Oh, fuck, that might be.
My name is Maruto. I'm trying to be the number one Hokage.
No, you can't do Naruto.
No, Matt.
Naruto's been done.
Fuck. Oh my god.
Hidden in the trees. Holy shit. That was a good one. I don't know how you did that on the fly, but that was a good one.
It is what it do, baby.
Fucking hell. And some fuck, I can't.
I'm just trying to concentration shattered.
Absolutely destroyed. Because
Sand devastated.
Yes.
Sorry, I opened up my weird character ideas document, and I just saw Jim Bishop.
What?
Like, oh, Bishop's Castle.
Oh,
The guy who-
Oh my god.
Oh,
Good lord.
the Hick Ford.
The
I just
Hick Ford.
I showed my parents. Apparently, some guy. Actually, I sent it to you guys. Some dude made a coolest thing I built video on YouTube.
Yeah.
I did one on Bishop's Castle.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, "You climbed that shit?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yes, sir.
buddy.
What?
Like the top tower was ricketing. And just
Yes.
like, what does that mean?
It was bowing under me and my friend's weight.
Yes, sir.
I would make him a goblin, the Naruto ripoff, and call him Fish Cake.
Nice.
I.
Nice.
Yes.
Just a literal, such a literal
Cake.
translation.
Yeah. No. So what you have to do, right, is you have to make him a custom lineage goblin shifter. So he gets the like fangs and claws.
Oh my god. Yeah. What I was gonna say is, some people might feel like that point before Isaiah destroyed me. Some people might say that the point I was making there is like semantics, like, oh, what's the difference between Yato and just literally playing, Jotaro? And you could certainly like make the argument, but I think the difference is if you're gonna play Fish Cake from the Hamlet Hidden in the Trees, you're still participating in the campaign as is tonally appropriate. Like your character's a little silly, but you're not like you're from a place that it's like reasonably possible that, hey, maybe there's some weird Hamlet that has this name, and like, sure, maybe some goblin thought it'd be funny to name their kid Fish Cake. Like, you could kind of be like, yeah, I could kind of get it, and you get to have your joke character. And also, the character that's goofy in that fashion can still be played for a long period of time and potentially do something that feels kind of like serious and genuine, Like, you can still have moments with the character named Fish Cake who's from the weird Hamlet Hidden in the Trees. like you'll laugh about it, but you can, like if you think about like American
What did he
cartoons,
say other than Databayo?
American
Oh my god.
cartoons.
No, he just used the you know what I mean.
Yeah, Databayo.
Oh, yeah. American cartoons do this all the time, right? Like, there's a show called Gumball where the main character's name is Gumball. But, like, there's still episodes where Gumball goes through, like, heavy emotional shit, and it's, like, handled seriously. You know what I mean? So it's
No,
like...
I just think about the fighting game episode where Gumball
Amazing.
and Darwin are, like, playing a fighting game to insult each other.
Yep.
And every time Darwin does a Hadouken, he just says big head.
Yep.
And then Gumball hits him with a hyper combo. And it's like some of the best animated shit in the show.
Yep. I fucking
Oh
love
my
that show.
god. I have to rewatch that
I
episode.
love Gumball. Yeah, there's a... It is a, don't get me wrong, it's a fine line, but it's a line that if you can nail it, I think is worth it.
Mm.
So it's not UB, it's just sort of understanding. You have a greater grasp on the hobby overall, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so hear me out, right? Rather than tailed beast, you have like dragon heads, like Tiamat.
Yes! My opening document back up.
My God.
Yeah, buddy. So like the coolest dragon would have all the chromatic and the metallic heads, and that'd be Fish Cake the Goblin Shifter.
Nope.
Oh my god.
I would like to also point out with the goofy character shit. It's like another thing that's worth mentioning is if everybody tries to do it, if everyone wants to be the Henshin Rider, then nobody's the wacky, goofy Henshin Rider character, right? Like, so that's another thing that a lot of new players run into is, you'll have 3 new players who you say to them, you could do whatever you want. And then they come to the table and one player's Wolverine with the laser cannon. One player is the first rider and another player is just fucking Godzilla or some shit.
And one of them is Fish Cake.
And one of them's Fish Cake. And then everyone looks and it's like, oh, we're all so ridiculous that now we all feel kind of dumb, and like I don't really get to be as funny and wacky as I thought I was gonna be because we're all funny and wacky, and it just like kind of kills the whole vibe, you know?
Hey, DM,
Sorry,
what
I'm
game
just-
is this supposed to be again? Curse of Strahd. Oh,
Yeah.
Curse of Strahd with fucking Godzilla.
I'm just thinking about, those games where nobody talks about what kind of character they're making. They just show up to the game with their character made.
Yep.
Everybody makes a joke character except for the one guy, and you're all just like, but I wanted to be the funny joke man.
So, what if I told you that that didn't happen with everybody was a joke character, but that happened in my first ever game where fucking Brett rocked up as actual David Bowie,
Oh yes, that's true.
who had a what is it? Super bad. What is it? The something evil side.
That evil side.
Oh yeah, superpowered evil side. Yeah, he
Superpowered
had that,
evil
and his name was Ziggy Stardust, and he was like a serial killer.
Correct me if I'm wrong though. Didn't Brett handle that more of like a Yato situation, at least later on in the campaign, where it was like wasn't quite lit. Like I know he was nicknamed. Tried to fit into the vibe a little bit more, wasn't that?
No.
No,
No,
Oh, okay.
he did make a set. So Bowie did have some serious shit happen where he got like dismembered by a dragon and got some weird dragon mutations. That was kind of a rough spot in that game. But he did eventually like have Bowie go off and do his own thing for a while. And then he came in with another character who was far more like actually a character who exists in this world and not this extra dimensional being that is David Bowie.
See, that's the thing, right? It tends to be how it goes. I've said this before, and this is you want to see this shit in real time. Just watch Critical Role. New players come in, wacky woohoo Buffo the Clown for first campaign. Second campaign, Lord Darkest of Darkanesca. You'll never know my edgy backstory. Like, it happens so often where it's like first campaign character. Just wacky woohoo fun time. Second campaign seriously. Now I'm taking D&D very seriously. You know what I mean? And then really
Yes,
what ends up happening is you land somewhere in a reasonable middle because both of those kind of suck.
Well, so you either land in a reasonable middle or you come full circle with your newfound wisdom.
Oh yeah. You
'Cause
come back to the
that's-
wacky woohoo, but you have there's like a greater knowledge to how it's crafted.
Because everything in campaign 3 for Critical Role is we've just doubled down on the wacky woohoo nonsense. Like Laura Bailey, goddamn, is playing a like purple-haired psionic who's like a moon child. She's like basically a Lunarian. Yeah, it's fucking Sam Riegel's playing a tiny robot who wheels around on a unicycle whose best friend is actually named Pussy. So like,
All right, see, yeah, but that's a little.
I'm just saying they've gone full circle. It's hilarious to see. God damn it. The Sam Riegel thing actually still kills me because
Oh,
they played it really serious for half a second and then they all cracked at the same time.
I thought your brain was still in the fish cake land.
Look, that too, because now I'm just thinking about like, do you play like a monk sorcerer who has fucking twin spells, so when you cast mirror image, you can cast 8
God.
mirror images?
Shut up.
Fire Clone no Jutsu. Pew!
Yeah, and do you have now that Discord has the fucking soundboard, need like the pwa for the sound substitution sound? The su-
Oh yeah.
su- du- 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 I love this idea. This is great.
Yeah,
This is gonna be a thing.
Fish
I
cake.
can't
goblin.
wait for fish cake to fucking die instantly.
Yeah.
Just that the bio explodes.
How long how old are you? 11 days. How long do Coldfolds live? 11 days? Oh no. God damn. All right. My third question is in direct response to a podcast I watched. It was Midnight Local for Josh, the one person who also watches Midnight Local. And it was the bit where they were talking about the D&D movie. And and Greg, the host, was like, apparently he had seen online that somebody was basically saying like, my issue with long-term D&D fans is that they expect you to know like these fucking encyclopedias of lore, and they get mad when you don't. Yeah. And his response is that like the lore for D&D doesn't matter because you make it up yourself as you go. And I mean, yeah, I just disagree with that on principle, but because like, well, because they're referring to Forgotten Realms, and it's like, well, no, if you're playing a module, right, like you do need to kind of on some level know the Forgotten Realms lore, because there is like set characters and set events that happen that are directly referenced in things. So to be like, fuck it, that didn't happen, what I want to happen happens, it could potentially like have weird knock-on effects, in the rest of the game.
At the basic minimum, you should know like where you're like, if you're playing in Icewind Dale, you should probably know a little bit about Icewind Dale. Read the first like chapter of the book that tells you all about Icewind Dale. So but I don't think you have to go too deep into it. And
no, I don't either.
Like I kind of agree with you, Isaiah, but like there's also a point where like, yeah, if you're running a homebrew game, your person, things are gonna change. Like one idea might just change a part of Forgotten Realms because they want to. I like the lore of Forgotten Realms, but it's also kind of like we mentioned this a long time ago. It's the perfect basic generic fantasy land. Like that's why Wizards of the Coast has been using it for fucking ever.
Yeah, it's super broad fantasy.
So, no, I agree with your homebrew setting. You can throw all the official shit out if you want. The question, I guess the real question is do you guys throw all that shit out? Because I don't, right? I think it's if someone asks you like, why does a beholder, like, what's up with the beholder? Why are they weird fucking aliens, right? If their character asks that in character, sure, I could make something up. But I feel like it's a lot easier to just go into my fucking search bar and go, why beholder alien? Yes. And then you find out that they're like weird dream beings that can think reality into existence. That just, it just provides you way more than you need. Yeah. But more than you could ask for, Yeah,
and a lot of it is cool and interesting to read and to listen to, if you're watching a YouTube video. And you want to bring that into the game, and your players will be like, ooh, that's interesting. And then they'll do the same thing.
All right, you might be getting mad at me over this, but I think you drastically missed the point on his original comment.
I may have. I watched it I watched it last Friday, so it has been ruminating in my brain, and there could just be some what's the phrase I'm looking for? Information decay, because I've been thinking about it so long that I may have just lost the forest through the weeds.
So there is lore. Well, okay. So many facets to this. So there is lore D&D based on setting, right? If you're in the Forgotten Realms, certain things are true. If you're in Greyhawk, certain things, Dark Sun, other things, Sigil, other things, blah, blah, blah. There is lore based on each of the settings. First and foremost, of course, the problem number one is which setting is the default setting? Now, 5e originally was technically Forgotten Realms, but they sort of kind of pretended like 5e didn't have a setting. Like it was Forgotten Realms, but they were very vague and broad and didn't want to hammer in the idea of a setting for 5e when it first came out, because the creators of D&D were very specifically worried about what Greg was talking about, where people feel intimidated by the game coming in, that there's all this crazy lore and shit that they have to learn, even though you don't actually have to learn any of it. But when you haven't played yet, you don't know that. I
don't think so, Josh, because if you look at a lot of the earlier adventures, it is super heavy Forgotten Realms.
Well,
like
so
lore
adventures,
stuff, like the adventures, like the Horde of the Dragon Queen, like Storm King's Thunder, Curse of Strahd, like that. I mean, yeah, Curse of Strahd, it's a somewhat different setting.
But
yeah, yes and no. Like Ravenloft is his own thing, but then it merged into Forgotten Realms.
Okay.
A lot of the early were Out of the Abyss, like a lot of the early ones, Prince of the Apocalypse, they're all heavily Forgotten Realms. And Storm King's Thunder, honestly, half that book is probably like it should have been what was in the fucking Sword Coast Adventures guide. Because that book is the entire Sword Coast setting.
Yep.
It's so weird that they did that with Storm King's Thunder, where it's like, here's the adventure. However, actually, it's the fucking entire Forgotten Realms.
Yes.
And you're like, what? Why is this here?
Everything you said is true. Not necessarily relevant to the situation. So, like,
Yeah,
you're not wrong. So, okay, adventure books are their own thing because an adventure has to be set somewhere, right? So, yes, the adventure books are going to be explicit about where they are. I'm talking player's handbook, EMG, monster manual, right? Like the base of the game before you get into adventure stuff. It is Forgotten Realms, right? And you can read into the lines and you can figure out that it's Forgotten Realms lore. And if you know Forgotten Realms lore, you would probably read through the 5e shit and be like, oh, this is all familiar. My point is that they didn't push it to the forefront. They didn't market it. They didn't make a big point about what the setting for what the default setting for 5e was in the way that older editions did, right? Older editions, it was much more of a second edition, basically everything they sold was settings, right? Like that was the thing that sold. So like all that all that is to say, you don't need any of that information to play, which is really the point that Greg was getting at. That's the crux of the thing. The information's there. The information is a thing. You can use it or not use it. The game does technically have a setting. If you want to look into the setting, you will find bits of that setting stuff in things like monster stat blocks. You can tell your players what beholders are in the realm of Forgotten Realms, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But it doesn't fucking matter at your table. Because at your table, it's whatever your GM says to you or whatever you as a GM say, and you don't need to know that crap to get into it. If you would like to know that crap, knock yourself out. But when Greg was saying there isn't any lore, obviously there is lore, right? Like, duh. What he's saying is it doesn't matter. Don't let that perturb you or stop you, or don't let that hinder you from playing the game in any way, because the comment that he was referring to was someone saying that they were unhappy or frustrated about trying to get into D&D because old grognards got mad at them for not knowing the lore. And so what Greg was saying in response was, it doesn't fucking matter. You don't need to know the lore to play the game. Just play the game. You're fine. Like, don't let the old grognard, like, stop you. You know what I mean? That was really the point. The lore doesn't fucking, like, first of all, most people play in homebrew campaigns, right? Like, most people do their own thing and their own setting and do not religiously stick to any particular setting. And even if they use a setting book, like, oh, we're gonna play Spelljammer, they're gonna, at a certain point, they're gonna derive away from the original setting anyway, like so it's gonna become their own setting anyway. It's going to branch off at a certain point because you're not going to religiously stick to all of the old past information. You know, some people
Which is another weird thing with Spelljammer, because it's technically, even though it's not in the Forgotten Realms, it technically is, because the Toril and all that is a part of Spelljammer. It's such a weird thing.
Maybe Spelljammer was a bad example, but
well, no, I'm just saying because a lot of those old settings now, because of 5e, they do end up connecting them because it's all the multiverse.
Yeah, well, so that was
yeah. Sorry,
that was the other thing I was gonna say about 5e is 5e has now changed its quote unquote default setting to be multiverse. In which case, the statement of there is no fucking lore actually becomes more true when you do multiverse, right? Because you give the free pass to just like go buck wild. Oh, it's a different dimension, multiverse, doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Unless you're Wizards of the Coast and they have that one chapter in Fizban's where it's like, yeah, there's the multiverse and all these other homebrew worlds and whatever you want to do. But there was this first world and we invented it. That's ours. We did the first one, guys. You can have that. It's the first one.
I mean,
it's like Wizards. What?
I mean, yeah, that's just because they wanted to make like know, whatever. It
Yeah, I
doesn't-
know. That's why it sounds childish though. That's why it's like, yeah, this is the grand scheme of the multiverse and all these homebrew settings and all these players and all of our fans. They can throw all their worlds and they're all technically connected. Well, ours was the first. We did it first.
I mean, I
No one
don't
can say it otherwise.
I don't-
It's like what?
see it that way.
Yeah, read it. You gotta read the thing.
No, I know they made like kind of a Big Bang Theory sort of thing, but I don't know.
Sort of,
I
yeah,
don't.
right.
I don't read it as like a childish like, oh, ours is cooler, ours first, or anything. I just comes across as like they just. I don't know. I don't take it very seriously. I guess is what I'm saying. Like I don't put a lot of stock in the Fizzbands thing.
And yes, to your point, Josh, you're right. Yes, you do not need any of the information.
That's really the point. That
that
was the crux of it.
And I understand that. The thing that kind of got me again was it. Yes, he was saying like in your setting, it doesn't matter. You don't need it. But there was also the add-on of like,
No, I think
and
he
none
was
of it
saying.
matters anyway.
I think he
Like,
was saying just at your table, not even just at like
well,
even
yes.
if you make the statement we're playing in Forgotten Realms, it still doesn't matter because it's still your table.
Yes, well, that sort of goes without saying, right? If you're talking about like you don't need to do this, presumably he's saying you don't need to do it at your table, and I agree. I don't think you need to do it, but I also don't think in that instance you should be advocating for throwing it all out.
I don't think that's what he was saying.
I mean, I'll have to watch it again, but that's sort of the vibe I had gotten of like,
No, because I don't think that's what he's saying because he was talking a whole bunch about how the D was a forgotten realm. You know, some people are going to be in that and shit. How he was actually saying part of his frustration with the fact that it was called D&D, he was like, it should be called Forgotten Realms in Honor Among Thieves. He was like, because it's not really a D&D movie because it's whatever setting you want it to be. It's whatever thing you want it to be. So I don't think he's saying throw it all out or anything. He's just saying it's a fucking ethereal, what is D&D concept. There is no one thing.
I guess.
Well, it's true. Like, what is D&D? It's like, well, it's whatever it is when you sit down and play with your friends. That's what.
Your imagination.
Yeah, pretty much. D&D is an idea, premise. It's not any one specific thing necessarily. You know, it's I'm lacking.
I was saying,
I am lacking huh?
I'm watching it derail right now. I'm like,
I'm not deep. I'm trying to think of like a better word, but nothing's coming to me. But yeah, like it's a concept. It's I guess it's the best I could think of at the moment.
I suppose. I don't
think you should like not discredit, but like just throw out all the lore. Like let's say like if you're making a homebrew setting and you have an idea of like I want to make like like fucking Elrond, like the city of elves and shit. Well, what do I do? It's like I could just like bash my head into a wall and make up my own thing, or there's all these other examples I could probably like just use and tweak and make my life easier, and my players will have a good time either way.
It's
yeah.
So while I agree with you, Matt, and I know I've been quiet this entire time, but like
Sam's
my
been ruminating.
only problem
big
with like I'm not saying throw it out. Me as a person who likes lore, I have zero interest in D&D lore half the time.
Yeah,
Like absolutely zero interest. I like
use the parts
I
you give a
don't-
shit about.
yeah
know?
that's like it's I just me as a person not caring about D&D lore, yes, you can be like okay, but like you're not everybody, sure, yeah, but like it's just if you don't care about D&D lore, you know, just don't care. It's fine. You don't have to worry about, you know, all this stuff. Sure, like for me, a lot of the time, like, yes, I will, like, you know, when I ran Strahd, I read up on Strahd. I read all of the shit around him so that I had a better understanding of the situation. Sure,
but you didn't have to.
I didn't have to. I mean, you know, as a person running a specific campaign, you should probably have some information on what you're running before you run it.
Yeah, but you could not. Like, you could just run your own version of Strahd and say fuck it if you want.
Yeah.
You look. I'm not saying that you need to, or like even that you should necessarily. The only thing that I'm sort of advocating for, and I will, you know, I guess, sort of the question has been answered already, but it's. I'm sort of advocating for at least looking into it, because again, it just is less work for you in the long run.
Yeah, it's another tool to use. Like, why would you ignore it? Like,
because I don't care.
Well, even if you don't, I'm not
pretty much. What, I like literally. I fully understand what you're saying. I do get it. You know, it is a tool that can be used. It is something that is there. It's already written. A lot of the time, if I don't care, and this isn't like you know, oh, D&D lore is shitty, blah 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 blah. No, this is more like I just do not think about it if I don't care enough. Yeah. So I literally will go. I won't go, oh, is there a lore for this? I will go, okay, what do I need? Because I do not operate thinking about D&D lore all the time. Like, I literally, like, I will think about the lore of monsters, but that's because monsters aren't necessarily, like, not all monsters, I should say, are not necessarily connected to the world of D&D, you know, whatever setting you're in. Well, you know,
monsters are also very immediate and tangible, so you can learn the information and then apply immediately.
Yeah,
like Warforged, I understand. Like, you know, they come from a different plane. You know, it's not just Forgotten Realms. I know that because I've looked into Warforged, because I care about Warforged. I don't care about the rest, so I don't think about them as a tool, because I literally just don't think about it. You know?
Yeah, maybe the source of the confusion is really there was a lack of specificity. I was sort of talking about monsters as the catch-all for this. That's why I brought up like beholders very specifically.
Yeah,
because that's the shit that I'm like, why would you throw any? Because there is like a tangibility to it, and there is like an immediate DM. What do I do with dragon scales? You know what I mean?
But
it's like, sure, you could make that up, but there are facets of the wiki that if you just like type in what do dragon scale, you'll find the answer. You don't have to think it up on the fly. It's
absolutely
there. Like
but what if
those are good resources to use.
What if you have a cool idea that you like?
And do that.
Then do that. Yeah, but if you don't have anything to start off with,
why not? Why not both? Why not look at all possible options?
True. You also don't know if your idea is better unless you know what the idea is in the first place.
No, but you could just like your idea that you just. Oh, GM, what's a beholder? And you're like, I don't know the official lore, but I have not even a better. I have an idea about it that I like, so I'm going to tell you that. You know, like, I don't think there's any I don't think you need to, or I don't think you need to advocate or any. And again, that's not really the scenario. The thing that spawned this is not, you know, the podcast comment that spawned this wasn't even really about that scenario. You know what I mean?
No, I know it's sort of spun out of control, but the original question was, when you're doing any kind of like prep work, do you use pre-written information to supplement your own, or do you just say fuck it and go and do whatever you do on the floor?
Very fucking rarely. In terms of just like, I use the pre stuff that's. I use existing lore very rarely or very little.
I do. It makes my life easier, and I can always warp it into my own thing.
I guess because like I always look at I'll look at a monster being the most obvious example, but not even just a monster, ability, spell, whatever, like magic item. I will generally look at something and have an idea about what it is in my setting pretty quick. It's pretty rare that I'm like, well, this thing exists. What do I do with it? You know, I almost always something comes to me. If something comes to me, I don't feel any compulsion to like. Most of the time, I mean, maybe sometimes. I don't know. It's also like, you know. Now, what I will say is, if you are curious, if you see art of a beholder, you go, that's cool looking. Wonder what his deal is, and then you look it up. I think that's the best way to do it. Like, cool thing. I'm interested in it. Look up what the lore or whatever is on it. You know, cool setting, cool character, cool piece of art, whatever. Looks into it. Sees picture of sexy drow lady. Gets way too invested in drow. Matt is bored. You know, like it's like that's a fine way to do it. But the idea that you need to do a shitload of fucking research before you even get into the game at all, like, nah, bro, get out of here.
Well,
I hate.
okay.
You know what it is?
Well, that's not what it is.
That's not what I'm advocating for.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you?
So I
feel like that's kind of what you're saying.
No. Okay. So if you're doing like a dungeon, right, and you have basilisks in your dungeon, I'm saying it could be advantageous to be like, okay, like, what are the stipulations for what these things do, right? And you obviously you look up the stat block and you go, okay, there's that, and then you go, well, is there anything else? And then you look up, you type in basilisk on the Forgotten Realms Wiki, you know. Because you like me, I'm thinking, well, it's got a special crazy power as a monster. My players are going to want to probably take advantage of that somehow. So let me see how it works in the lore and see if I can sort of modify that into any like pre-existing thing. Like if you use basilisk eyes to make a specific potion, I kind of want to know that, you know?
So yeah, and what I'm saying is you can do that but only do it if you're interested. You know? That's kind of like, I guess what I'm saying is don't force yourself to have to like, if you're like Sam and you're like, I just don't fucking care. Don't like force yourself to not to put Sam in the like, no box here. It was, you know.
Hey,
but
fine.
like, if you just don't care, then
I know where I belong.
Then you don't have to look into it. You know, like I don't think, you don't need to force yourself into any sort of like, don't feel compelled in any way, you know, like I think about the GM advice in Stars Without Number, where the designer literally said, how much do you need to, like, talking about prepping, he's like, how much do you need to prep? And he goes, prep whatever you need for the immediate next session, and then if you don't want to do any more, stop. If you're having fun, keep going. If you're not having fun, don't keep going. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, but you don't need to like feel this compulsion that I must have all this mighty knowledge and all this shit to like figure, you know what I mean? Because some people get a little, you know, some people do get like shitty about it, where they are like, oh, you're not allowed to play, you can't play Vampire the Masquerade unless you know all the fucking like backstory of every fucking clan and the shit, you know what I mean? Like,
well, vampires are very like, you kind of need to with vampire. There's so much going on.
You should at least know the basic structure of society, but you don't really need to know much further than that, because you can play as a fledgling vampire, you know?
You can,
like,
yeah. Well, but so what I mean is, like, you should for vampire, you should at least do some research on what the clans are and how they work.
Or at least your clan, like whatever you.
The book does
playing.
that though, like. So that I guess that's a different thing for me as well. Like if it's in the written material for the game, like just in whatever book that you have to use, D&D having 3 books isn't really helpful for this. So I'll just use Vampire. Like Vampire the Masquerade in 5th edition has outlines of the clans in it. Like it's not just, hey, this and in the current setting, you know. So if you're using base setting or you're using slightly modified, whatever, but like it has, you know, depiction of the clan, examples, and then, you know, some story behind the clan, and like their specific traits. It already has that in the book. I'm way more likely to
if it's in the
use
book,
that
information.
Yeah, that's actually, I'd agree.
If I have to go on a wiki,
the wiki
because
dive.
I do wiki dives frequently. Okay, I just don't want to do it for D&D. I know I'm weird about shit like that, but like if I don't want to do something, I'm probably not going to do it at all.
I mean,
So like I will absolutely read the rule book and then go, okay, this is how I'm making my decision. Sure.
I know jumping to like back to creatures. Mostly that paragraph that they have, like, you know, they give you for like whatever monster manual or whatever. That's like enough for me most of the time.
Well, that's
Oh
what
yeah,
I
for
mean.
sure.
Yeah, but that's enough.
that's-
Like, my players fought, was it Gas recently? I had no idea that apparently Gas were actually just like possessed like orcs or half orcs from abyss like ghosts. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I
Yeah,
thought they were
they're-
just fucked up zombies. All right, shit.
No, yeah, they're super cool, and that's kind of what I'm saying. Is like, I'm not saying you need to. I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying it's a necessity. I'm just advocating that people do it because it can be very helpful, and it could be as simple as, you know, a lot of the time I don't read the like excerpts in the monster manual. I just fucking skip it.
Oh, what the fuck?
But if I go,
Yeah.
well, because if I'm like looking through it, I'm not gonna. I didn't read the monster manual like a book, right? I looked at all the cool stat blocks and all the cool art and went, that's all I need to know. But if I go back into the monster manual looking for like an Umber Hulk, that's when I'll go, okay, what exactly does this fucking thing do? You know what I mean?
Oh, so yeah, because I went the opposite. I went art, then looked at the stat block, and then I read the paragraph. You know, giving me like, ooh, what is an Umber Hulk?
But-
I guess I'm just fundamentally on the opposite end. Like,
I mean, that's okay.
because
Yeah, that's cool.
We are all against
I-
Grognard's telling people you have to learn the lore of
yeah,
whatever.
definitely don't
Like,
do that.
We all
Yeah,
we all
do not
agree.
do that.
Yeah.
But I just am, I don't know, fucking fuck it, we ball go in blind. Like, fine. It's a little harder, obviously, if you're GMing. You kind of have to have something to work with, like you need to make something or know something or what. But like as a player, bro, fucking go in, dick out, cock free. Like,
Oh yeah, no. If you're a player,
I think that
you
depends
definitely
on
don't need to know anything. Like,
I think that also depends on the player though, because there are some people who just feel uncomfortable with that.
sure. If you want to have
Why
the
not
knowledge,
knowing?
yeah.
But like, you know, I as a person, if I don't feel like D&D, I'm absolutely not going to ever
Yeah,
look
like,
at things. I will absolutely absorb everything by osmosis. If you tell me something, I will probably remember it.
Right. Well, that's
but-
the other thing is you will learn shit through play. Like it's impossible not to. You'll just pick stuff up. You know what I mean? Even the mechanics of the game will also teach you shit about the setting of the game. You know?
Yeah.
You'll be like, oh,
Sorcerers being casters and they talk about dragon blood being magical.
right. You'll be like, oh, I guess that's a
Like-
way dragons have magic blood. They can make you magical. Oh, okay, that's something. You know, like the
Yeah.
mere existence of the dragon sorcerer subclass is gonna like inform a certain bit of knowledge to you. I mean, I went into fucking vampire, not 100% blind, but pretty blind. You know,
I mean, you really only need to know about
I knew
the
very little.
like the amount you need to know is about your clan.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And again, let me specify even further. This only really matters if you're running games. Like this information that I'm trying to like relay.
Yeah.
If you're a player, you more often than not don't need to know shit. And I would argue there are some times where it's better that you don't know anything. You know?
I would like to also point out that side note. I believe the original comment from the podcast was perspective of a player coming in.
Oh,
part of
weird.
it too. Like I don't think the original comment of like, oh, all these people expect me to know all the lore, I don't think was coming from a person who was running a game. I think it was, as far as I could tell from the context, was a person who is a player in a game, you know, or trying to be,
Now
or
I
trying
know
to
what
be
the
a player.
context of
They
it
don't
was like.
specify, but
They don't
it's-
specify, but that was kind of what I was gathering.
Okay, so I had inferred that as the complete opposite. I had inferred that as a GM thing.
Oh,
like imagine like the players like playing a GIF and then they're like just sitting in a tavern of Waterdeep and everyone's like, God, playing a GIF, don't even know the GIFs aren't even in Waterdeep, idiot. And you're just like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. Well, that was kind of because from the way Greg was talking about it in that episode, that was sort of the impression I got. That was like a player, you know, either had been in a game or was trying to get into a game and felt sort of either intimidated or pushed out of the game. Someone expected to know. And I think it was, for some reason, I also think it was a female player, which probably also made the situation more. I don't remember for sure if it was or not, but for some reason that's sticking in my brain. But the player felt sort of pushed out of the game because some grognard expected them to know all the lore. That was, from what I remember, that was kind of what it was.
That sucks.
It's because, like, I guess the other reason I'm having that thought is because I have a hard time seeing a scenario where you're running a game and someone's grognarding you about not knowing the lore as a player, you know? Like, especially if you're just playing with, like, friends, you know? I mean, obviously, if you have an asshole at the party, you have an asshole at the party. But, like, I have a hard time imagining like someone's playing in someone's game and then goes like, oh, you're getting the lore wrong, blah, 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 you know, because it's like, well, it's my table, my setting, I can do what the fuck I want, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm assuming too many nice things of people. Maybe that's the problem. I guess maybe, you know, I guess there may be players out there who are like, actually, you're getting it wrong as a player. I guess that probably is a thing, and boy, do I fucking hate you if you're doing that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's just annoying.
You know what? That's actually probably really even like so much worse if you're playing a game that's a licensed product like Star Wars. And then you have that player who's like, actually, that must be like, actually, Stormtrooper blasters couldn't shoot through that alloy's reinforced after the war from Return of the Jedi. They learned from that. Like, I couldn't even. Oh,
see, that would be me internally, but I wouldn't vocalize it.
I mean, you can like bring it up, but don't be like, GM, you're wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you should just be like, oh, fun fact, guys, and just
you can
like,
fun fact it. That's fine, but don't tell your GM they're wrong. Especially because your GM's not wrong. It's their game. They can't be wrong. You know, they make the decision. They might have even known that bit of lore and are choosing to change it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know. I know I do that shit all the time. Like, imagine. I mean, shit. My campaign right now, I'm obviously pulling a bunch of Greek mythology in. Like, imagine if you guys the whole time were playing is like, actually, that's not how the myth goes. And I'd be like, yeah, motherfucker, I know. I'm changing it on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, that'd be so annoying.
I was actually wondering, because you had the like evil spirits in forest, and I was wondering if those were supposed to be monads or not. I just hadn't brought it up.
Exactly. They're based on a thing that's kind of from.
Wait, hold on, Josh. Heracles or Hercules?
I mean, if you checked his hair.
Okay.
Yeah, Hercules is the Romanization.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hercules is a Romanization.
Yeah.
So
no, I know. I'm just saying there, like, I want to just be in that like the Greek game where it's just like the DM is like doing everything Greek style. He's like, yeah, so Hercules, and he's like, no, it's called Heracles, and I'm like, I don't know, DM. Did you see the '96 Disney movie? I think you're wrong.
Yeah, you know, they couldn't have fucked it up for 3 million frames. You know, I'm just saying.
I hate that so much. Also, Hercules 97. Thank you very much.
Oh, nice.
Oh my god, I can't believe you did it.
Damn.
What a fucking double Mobius reach around that
Sam
was.
just did it live.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I think we'll only have time for one more question, which is fine. But the next big thing that's been rattling around in my think pan is consequences. And that's a pretty broad statement, so I'll give you some context.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I know. So my players, due to their decisions, have been kicked out of the organization they worked for. And it's like this big thing. And I didn't necessarily want to do it. But like now that it has happened, it's got some really interesting implications for the future of the game. But I'm a little worried that like the way I went about it sort of it may have taken away some of their player agency and punished them for like working really hard. And I'm kind of struggling with it. Like, I'm not gonna take it back because it's been 3 weeks, but I'm like, was that chill? And like, I know that gave basically no context, but
Well, yeah, well, I was going to ask for a very specific bit of context in this. In what way do you feel like this somehow took?
So, for context, the players work for like a courier agency, but they are basically just war heroes. They're just fucking like commandos at this point. And through the last 3 years that they've played the game, they've like very consistently done shit that is like either against the law or has like really big ramifications if they fuck up. And the guy, their boss, i.e. me, has sort of justified it by being like, oh, well, they're helping the greater good. They're like serving the people in some way. To be like, well, they're doing the thing, like they're the Batman, right? They're like they're not the hero they deserve, but they're the hero we have.
Oh, it was here.
Sorry, hero we need. Sorry. Yeah, it's. They snuck into an enemy faction base and freed one of the characters' dads who attacked the base. And they caused like a mass like series of riots, and they destroyed their power grid and freed a bunch of prisoners. So when they had saved the dad and they went back to their organization, their boss was like, yeah, no, get out. Like, you can't. This is not chill. And the reason why I don't, like, part of me doesn't feel bad is because every NPC from fucking Sacramento to here was like, hey, you really shouldn't, this is not a good idea, don't do this. And they were like, nope, we're doing it anyway.
Well, if it ain't the consequences of my own actions.
Yeah. See, that's what I keep trying to tell myself, but on some level, like...
So here's the thing. Players, if you do something and your DM is actively telling you that this is a bad idea, you are most likely going to get hurt in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's you lose your character's home, a character dies, it causes severe reaction down the line.
I stab you IRL at the table.
Maybe not real life consequences, except for maybe the emotional damage that comes from your character losing damage. Thank you. Here's really where I'm coming from for this. Your characters should be punished if they do something that's fucked up or whatever. And this is this may sound fucked up, but like even good things go, good deeds go on. No good deed goes unpunished. It is a saying that I hear a lot. And like even in D&D or whatever game you're playing, you can do a good thing, but because you fucked with the wrong people, it's very possible that you may lose something. It's okay to punish your players, is what I'm saying. Like, if you're DMing, and this is, I do not mean, hey, listen, your players have done something and you should punish them for it. No, that's not what I'm saying. If you have actively warned your players against something, literally like have been doing this for sessions, or every character they've talked about this plan with, they keep going on and on and on about how this is a bad idea, it's not, this isn't going to end well. Do not step back on that. Do not step away from that. Punish your player, because they did the thing that you told them was not a good idea. They may have some immediate gain, but the long-term effect is loss. That's okay. Don't baby your players. There we go. That's what I'll say. Don't baby your players. If you said that something was going to go wrong and something goes wrong because they did something that you told them,
Yeah, it's not a surprise.
was bad. It's not a surprise. They can feel bad, but if they feel mad at you for that, then that's on them, not you. You know?
Yeah, and they, yeah, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some of them are kind of resentful. I don't know. I'm not going to presume that they are. There was definitely an amount of like, yeah. There was certainly a level of like, did I do the right thing? Should I walk this back before it's too late? Ultimately, I decided like, no. They were warned. They did a dangerous thing. They put a lot of people's lives in danger. So this is kind of what they get. But it has been sort of rattling around in my brain for the last few days. And it's that thing, right, where I have to keep telling myself like, didn't do anything wrong. Just chill. It's a learning experience for the characters, not really the players. Because the players knew what was going on. And you know, the biggest one is like, there's so many really interesting implications for the future now.
I'm still slightly confused, I guess. Why you feel like this was a removing their agency as players scenario? I don't.
So the big one was, okay, my bad. When they got back to the base and they were told like, hey, you can't stay. When they asked their like commander, what do we do? He was like, kill that guy. Like, shoot that dude in the fucking head. If you do that, then you can stay. Like, you know, we can get rid of him. We can get rid of the evidence. You can stay. And that's sort of where I'm like, was that taking away their agency? Because I gave them an ultimatum of kill the guy that they just spent 3 sessions planning on saving and then proceeding to save.
No, it's a reasonable ultimatum that the NPC in question probably would have done.
Yeah.
Like, you're playing them as a real character, as a person.
That's ultimatums are a real thing.
Yeah.
You will be given ultimatums in your life. I think it's reasonable to have player characters have ultimatums at some point. Like,
also means they have to make a compelling choice.
Yeah. Before recent events in the Sunday game, you know, I was like, oh, one of us is going to have to like sacrifice ourselves to do this thing. Like, it's just going to be a thing that we have to do, you know? Now it's maybe possibly, but like, you know, it's very much so that was an ultimatum I was expecting to have to one of us perform. You know, we can achieve our objective, but we're going to have to lose something to get there. Now I'm more, you know, on the fence about if that's going to actually happen. Josh, you don't have to say anything, obviously.
No, but like, as you're talking, my brain is like, woo, thoughts.
Yeah. Like it has been there. I'm like, and these are the kinds of things that, you know, even if it's towards the end of a campaign or the middle of a campaign, you know, it is okay to present your players with ultimatums. Obviously, don't do it too often because that's just kind of fucked up. Obviously, you know, if the ultimatum is, all right, buddy, you can have a peach or an orange, that's entirely different. That just reminded me of the Mass Effect 3 endings, by the way. Red, blue, or green.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it's not taking away player agency.
No, I think all of what you said, all of what you've been describing, as far as I can tell, now it wasn't there. I'm assuming you're not doing that. This is all just a good example of verisimilitude to me, because you could have basically contrived some reason that your players didn't get kicked, like, oh, we captured or not captured, we freed this dude, we brought him back, we did some shit that we weren't supposed to, and then for some reason the boss of the organization that they're in is like, you know what, I don't have the energy to kick you out, fuck it doesn't matter, whatever, I'll forget about it. Like, you could have just come up with some reason that he didn't, but that wouldn't really have made a lot of sense. That would have sort of broken the tone and broken the verisimilitude of the moment. And in a lot of ways that probably, I'm assuming this character's been around for a while, and I'm assuming you've been trying to play him in a certain way. And if he had just said, whatever, I'm just going to ignore the crazy thing you just did, that would break the verisimilitude of the character and would sort of go against the tone. It would go against all the warnings you gave them. Like, it wouldn't really make any sense. Players in a game don't get mad when you do bad shit to them. Players in games get mad when you do bad shit to them and it doesn't make sense. That's the problem. If they had done the right thing and then suddenly gotten kicked out and the reason was not clear or there wasn't some sort of secret hidden thing or whatever going on, that's when players get mad. If you just take away shit for no reason, it's like, bro, what the fuck? But if you say to your players, if you do this, you're going to piss off this NPC who has a lot of influence over you, and then it happens, they're going to go, well, we knew that makes sense. That is consistent within the world. It's the same idea of when you're reading a book, watching a movie, watching a TV show, where, you know, there's an internal logic everything is following, and you're like, cool, everything's good, and God damn it! All right, we're gonna use some JoJo, right? Okay, Isaiah, do you remember? Right, minor spoilers if anyone's listening for part 5 of JoJo, but like really minor spoilers. Giorno fights Black Sabbath, right? Remember how I was talking about that? And destroys Black Sabbath and fucking punches him into the sun, and Black Sabbath burns up and disappears. His stand user Popo does not die from that. And I got really annoyed about that because I was like, hold up, the internal logic of JoJo has been, since day one, if your stand dies, you die. Stand gets hurt, you get hurt. That has always been consistent and logical, and there is nothing to suggest, really, why that wouldn't be the case in this scenario. So I got annoyed, and now there's little bits of things you're like, oh, well, they kind of said this at this part, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, it's like, yeah, sure, but there was nothing to suggest that he should have been able to survive it. Like, there wasn't anything special about him. His stand wasn't like particularly crazy new. Like, it was a long range stand, but that's not like a new thing by that point in the show. There's been quite a few actually. So I got annoyed because it broke the internal logic. Now, stands are not real in real life, obviously, so it's not about making things make sense to the real world, but it's about the internal logic consistency of the world. So your players did a fucked up thing. Their boss said, don't do this, or someone near, I guess I don't know if it was the boss specifically, but someone, nearby or around them was like, don't do this, you will get in trouble. And then they did it and got in trouble. That is internal consistency, verisimilitude, the feeling of truth. So it all checks out, all makes sense to me, and also you said that they had done several other things up until this point that were, they did other things where they were kind of stretching the rules a little and they got away with it. So it's not like this was the first time either, So it's a big consequence, but it's been building up to this point, and it makes internal consistency. So at the end of the day, boy oh boy, if it ain't the consequences of my own actions.
Yeah, and again, that's sort of what I've been saying to myself, to be like, no, see, like you did, like, yeah.
And also spices things up. We got a whole new arc now. What the fuck are we gonna do? We ain't got no job.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one that they've been doing is like, trying to find food and then being like,
yeah,
oh, we found enough to feed everybody for a day.
Yep.
Shit.
Yeah, it's whole new spice. You change things up.
It is funny, but it actually, we have more time than I thought. It does sort of segue into my last point, which is another point that I'm struggling with is...
Well, actually, wait. Oh, before you do it, I just had a thought. Let's do a little thing. All right. I will say, if I was a player in your game and this situation that you described happened, I would not be mad. Sam or Matt, would you be mad?
No.
Feel, you know, like.
Uh,
Oh, there it is.
well, me and Isaac were kind of talking a little bit before the recording about this, is because I was like trying to come up with. I'm like, oh, well, maybe like, you know, did the players offer any kind of like secondary solutions of like not getting kicked out? And they didn't. So it's like, oh, so I would have been the player being like, hey man, before you kick us out, I have some ideas. We can fix this.
Right.
You know,
But
everything could be some potty cup.
Well,
If it
so-
was a flat no, then I'd be
well-
like, well, I tried. You know.
Well,
Yeah,
so-
but
so let me
assume
specify.
you tried,
They-
but let's assume ultimately you got kicked out. Would you be mad or not mad? Given
I don't
what
know.
Isaiah explained to you.
Probably not, since we kind of like.
Right.
Yeah, we you know we didn't listen. You know.
Yeah, so let me specify.
Probably might be annoyed, but wouldn't be like
did-
mad, miffed.
Yeah, so that they did offer other solutions. It just wasn't the solution you and I were joking about.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if the
Because they were
solutions-
like, you know, we can hide him. We can try to like we can just lie to them. Like they did offer that, but it wasn't like a. Because the joke was, what if we like put him in a fucking Weekend at Bernie's style like disguise and see if that works? That was the joke thing we were talking
Yeah.
about.
Like I would have probably offered like, can we frame another gang or guild or whatever? Like, you know, point the blame somewhere else so we're like fine, or you know what? Hey, post apocalypse, just put a fucking, you know, gas mask over his face constantly.
well,
Who the fuck's
and
gonna ask?
also, yeah, and if your players had offered some sort of strategy, if your players had come up with an alternate idea that made sense and could potentially work, and you still didn't let them do it in any, like you just gave them a flat no, then you would be taking away like agency of being a dick about it. You know what I mean? Like if they had come up with a strategy that made sense, but if they were trying to do something dumb that doesn't make sense, like for example, let's just say the NPC in question is filthy rich, and then the players go, oh, well, what if we bribe you? You go, well, no, obviously this NPC's not going to take a bribe. He's filthy rich. So he still tells them to fuck off. That's still internal consistency. But if they kidnap his daughter and threaten her, and then he freaks out, okay, now you can't just say no to them. Now they're doing something that has like, all right, this checks out. You're coming with another plan. Probably not a good plan, but another plan.
Yeah, so the way that it went was like
Sorry, the hostage thing just reminded me of Mass
Escalation.
Effect 2. Just the renegade option.
Yes, shoot him in the
Hostages
head.
only matter if you care
Yep.
about them.
Yeah.
Jesus
Christ.
I mean, holy fuck. Why am I thinking about Mass Effect so much? Anyway, continue.
Oh no, I gotta go.
Basically, you got the approval from the other three people.
It did, it seems. Yeah, so the way that it went was, you know, they got back home, they were feeling, you know, they were definitely feeling themselves when they opened up the front gate. You know, their boss was there, like, what the fuck did you just do? Because I just got a phone call that everything's on fire.
Oh,
And
jeez.
you know, they came clean and was like, yeah, they came clean and were like, yes, we did take him, everything's fine. They didn't know it was us. And it was sort of a back and forth being like, no one knows who we are. The only one here who's notorious is Paladin's character, but he was disguised. And excuse me. It was partially the way that I had sort of justified it in my head is a leader who's pushed to the limit, who's terrified for his own people, so he might not be thinking the most rationally.
Well, also that
Hmm.
it's not that wild. Like that's not that outlandish of an idea.
Yeah, like with time, like could they sort of come to a solution together? Maybe, but I don't think the character at the time was thinking about that. It was like a, you know, they could burn my town to the ground overnight, and it would partially be my fault because, you know, I sponsor these people.
What was the thing?
Oh. Yeah, so now that they are homeless, effectively.
Yeah, now they're
Um,
real murder hobos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
So before they went homeless, I had basically told them like, okay, guys, This is sort of like a prolonged, unofficial downtime because I'm still prepping shit for the next arc to really kick in. So if there's stuff that you guys want to do for your own personal things, if you want to find your long lost sister, or you want to rescue your dad, for example,
You're free agents, baby.
yeah, now's the time to do it. And I'm sort of struggling to figure out what to do in those in-betweens. Like, the whole session basically was them like making checks. It was their like on the range, like the oh boy, like that kind of shit, where they were trying to survive. And that was like, okay, this kind of works. It's a little low energy, in my opinion. It was like I was sort of getting bored. And it's not really any fault of the players. It was just like, I want to be doing more stuff right now, but what we're doing makes sense. It just seems like necessary bookkeeping.
Yeah.
But I'm like struggling to put A to B, right? I have, damn it. I have A, I have B. I know the beginning and end point, but I am struggling to put the pieces in the middle. I
mean, so they're just wandering around now, right?
Well, they've got a place to live. Like, Paladin's character technically has a place that he lives without them. He's just been staying with them because it's easier to stay with them than to drive over an hour to their base from his base. So they're staying in his base, and it's not like it's a big like cave with like, fucking warehouse style catwalks all over the place and whatnot. So they, for all intents and purposes, do have another base that they could go to, that they have access to.
Sounds like the next plot points.
Well, it it kind of is. This is part of the, like, me setting up for the next arc. That's literally what's going to be kicking the door in next session, like tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't. Sounds like you have the solution to me.
Mm-hmm.
Next plot point literally kicks the door in.
I have the start to the solution.
I don't. What else do you need? I guess the ball rolling. No.
Yes, it gets the ball rolling. I've yet to be able to, like, the pieces are not completely in place yet. I can't knock the domino fucking stack over just yet.
Why?
Because there's some, like, preparatory shit that the few times that I do actually do preparatory shit, I, like, just don't have it ready yet. It's basically it. It's just not done. Like, there are stat blocks that I have to finalize, and some, like, special rules for an event coming up that I don't have, like, quite figured out yet.
I'm perplexed by what I have a conundrum.
My conundrum is how to meaningfully do the stuff that they want to do while also biding for time. Like, it's kind of
well, I mean, the biding for time is just if you really genuinely I want to get to the next arc but don't have anything. Like, I don't think, like, I don't think there's any point in doing, like, oh, I'm gonna don't have filler sessions is, I guess, what I'm getting at. It's not like you need to let them faff about doing, don't have anything.
Yeah.
fair enough.
Now, if they have some stuff that they have said they want to do players and are like, hey, since we're in this like downtime, can we do X, Y, and Z thing? As we have all this free time because we're homeless now, so we got a lot of free time. Then yeah, let them do the sessions of the free time. But if they don't have anything that they immediately want to get done, then don't have anything they want to immediately get done, and you gotta be ready to roll with the next thing you have.
Fair enough.
you know, that and that kind of thing, that comes down to, you know, you got a type of player or self-motivated enough to be like, I want to do X, Y, and Z thing while I have the chance, whatever. And a lot of players are just not like that. I have learned. Like, I this is one of those verging on another topic territory. I have noticed that there are many players, particularly if they've never DM'd, if you haven't been in the GM seat, tend to not have that motivation, say or decide that your character's good without the GM.
All right, well, that's basically all I had, and we damn near finished up 2 hours with it. So fuck yeah, let's do it. Josh, you want to give one a quick recap of where to find us and all the doobly doos?
You can find me in your basement right the fuck now.
Oh, are you with Brett?
Yeah, actually I am.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah, we're chilling down here.
to tell them
It's kind of cold, I'm not gonna
we
lie.
said hi. I'd just be glad you're not in the South where they just flood.
True.
True.
As I stated before, please give a follow or subscribe on your podcast platform of choice, and also a rating if you'd be so. If you're
Yes.
on Spotify, you can leave. Ooh. And follow us on Twitter to stay up to date. Me Bluebird. See me occasionally tweet about JoJo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean,
Sounds about right.
just telling you the truth. Just being honest.
I know you. That's
So
what makes
honest.
it funny. I can occasionally tweet about JoJo.
Although today I replied to Isaiah's tweet about a ranking of best anime girls, and one of them was Ariel's the Gundam.
Yeah, baby, Gundam Ariel in the top 10. Let's go.
That was an interesting thing to wake up to this morning.
Yo, if we can push Gundam Ariel to the top 1 spot, I will fucking cry.
Bro, I swear to God.
You know what? That's it. Everybody, do me a personal favor. Vote for Gundam Ariel in the Crunchyroll Best Girl of the Season voting
I did
poll.
it. You should too.
I did. You should as well.
I'm doing my part.
Yeah.
I'm doing that.
Yeah, that's us. That's been us. That's been Sessions Canceled. Tune in next time for the thrilling adventures of Fish Cake and his Hamlet hidden in the trees.
Fucking Christ, we're gonna be talking about that one for a long time.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Absolutely.